Okie dokie. Welcome on back. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Yeah. Let's talk about these guys for a minute. Whenever I first got these guys, I really didn't want to take the time to paint their skin green. I originally bought, back whenever it first came out, the game where it had the Ultramarines and the Orcs. Oh, Assault on Blackreach. I originally bought that as my very first starter pack for Warhammer 40k. You know, I was freaking out. I was like, $100? Are you freaking serious? But now the more I've gotten into the game, I wish it was only $100 to get started again. But I painted all those guys by hand with a brush. Really took my time, yada yada yada, and oh my goodness gracious, I was never so proud of something in my life. But it took forever. It really, really did. And I actually took these guys and I spray painted them with a rattle can, and I just put Scott tape over or whatever you guys call it, I don't know. But I put that over the weapons, and even some of the guys with most of the guys with helmets. I guess I missed these two guys, my bad. But most of the people that had like important things on them, anything that I didn't want painted that nasty green color, I just covered up with the tape, and it kept it nice and clean. I actually have a video on it if you guys want to go back and watch it, and you guys can check that out and see what I did there. Not very exciting. I actually watched another user use Silly Putty, and that's what I definitely plan on using next time whenever I do that, because I think I'll be able to get down like the cracks and crevices of like the smaller things. Like, I don't know if you guys can see. Come on, focus. But right there on his little Orky belt, I definitely want that a more bright yellow color. So I would want to cover that up and maybe paint it white, then with a base coat of white, then do a yellow. But that's just what I want to do with that. But so anyways, but I just used a rattle can to get them all green and stuff, and so far it's turned out not terrible. The Avalander yellow is sitting on there nice. It really pops out against the character. I definitely will go back over that with maybe a layer. I have this Uriel yellow, and I don't know if I'll use that because it'll be too bright, and then they'll be way too close to my Imperial Fist that I have made up. So I might just go over them with this Lamenter's yellow glaze. Picked them all those up in my local hobby shops. But that's probably what I'll do, is just go back over it with that, see how it looks. If it's not bright enough, we'll see. I'll probably just drop by the shop and get some advice on what I would use for those colors. If you do have a Bad Moons, I would really appreciate if you guys would give me some advice on what you use to paint them, what colors they are, yada yada yada. So, or if you have a better painting technique that I do. I honestly will never own an airbrush. One, because I love this hobby to death, don't get me wrong, but I don't have, I don't know how to explain it. I'm not, I guess I'm nervous about buying one. I'm afraid I'm going to get it, not like what I get, and then not ever use it. Or like it's too complicated to keep clean and operate, and I have to keep, if it breaks, I have to get new parts for it. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's a really heavy investment. Like some of the cheapest ones I found were like, some of the cheapest good beginner, I researched them a little bit, ones were like still like $100+. And I was like, I mean, I know it would help my models come out definitely more polished right off the bat. I wouldn't be looking at so many streaky lines from like the brushes and stuff. Obviously, you can water down your paint and yada yada, make it look better. But sometimes you can only do so much, so. But, I don't know. I might get one. I mean, it depends on how far I get into the hobby. So far, I own an Imperial Fists. And I painted all those guys by hand. That took for freaking ever. And then I also own a huge group of Behemoth Tyranids. I also purchased some Orcs, Tau, and I also have a decent amount of Imperial Guard too, which I'm kind of excited about. I really don't know how I'm going to play those guys. Obviously, a lot of people are probably going to say, obviously, if you want to play competitively, play tanks. But I don't know. I kind of just want a group that will be fun to play. That's really all I'm looking for. I'm hoping once most of my armies are painted, shame on me for not painting before, because had I just painted all the guys as they came in, I wouldn't have this huge mass of stuff sitting on a shelf in my room where I'm freaking out about getting it done. So, shame on me. But, we'll see. It also doesn't help that if I'm not doing homework, we're going to school, I'm working. I don't have a bad job, don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. Not the worst thing in the world. Customer service is great, wink wink. But if I could do something like what Matt and Steve and Cork and Dave do for a living, I would think the Chaos Gods were on my side. That would be freaking fantastic. But the amount of work that those guys have put into that, and, you know, the grace that they've gotten from their fans and the loyalty and stuff like that they've gotten from their fans, just incredible. And I really kind of hats off to those guys for being just top notch in everything that they do. The quality of their videos is awesome. Really respect those guys a lot. So I actually don't have a Vault membership. I wish I did. It, with school, is just expensive right now. You know, even though it's only like $100 or so bucks, you got to factor in like phone bill, insurance, other stuff like that, yada yada yada. I'm not going to tell you about my finances here, but you know, I mean, cashing out a couple $100 or whatever just to have a membership to watch videos is, especially if they're like painting tutorial videos. Because don't get me wrong, those guys are awesome, but there are some super great free YouTubers out there that, you know, oh gosh, what's that guy's name? There's a guy. I can't remember his freaking name right now. If whenever I make the third installment of this video, I will give you guys his name. But I can't remember right now. I know Apathetic Fish does a really good job. They're an awesome YouTuber. I love watching their videos. But, oh, Lester Bursley, or something along those lines. Yeah, that guy, freaking awesome. He can paint like nobody's business. And you know what? He uses... Oops, I forgot this guy's helmet. He uses some nice airbrushes. I looked up some of the prices of his airbrushes and stuff. And don't get me wrong, the guy's sponsored. You know, that helped. He also probably does like painting projects for wargaming groups and stuff like that, that, you know, are costing them thousands of dollars, and this guy's just raking it all in. It's freaking ridiculous. But no, that guy really helped me out. Actually, he his videos are some of the first I ever watched to learn how to paint my very first Ultramarines whenever I had them from the Assault on Blackreach set. So that was super awesome. There's a lot of good websites out there for folks that can show you how to have good painting etiquette, how to be professional in your modeling, things like that. There's a website that I used to paint my Tyranids, actually, where I got my ideology and all the how I did everything, called Tale of Painters. I guess I sound like a freaking infomercial at this point. I've been telling you about all these people and not my personal channel, but whatever. You know, I really like to build other people up and push them forward to do their best. I actually originally, speaking of which, was supposed to be, before I started my job that I have now, which I'm going back to school, because I don't want to do this the rest of my life, but I was supposed to be a personal trainer. I actually really enjoyed it. It was fun hanging out with people all day and pushing them to be their best, and it was a good time. It was fun. It was scary at times because, you know, you never know how people are going to react and to some of the stuff you say or what they're going to do or if they're going to be frustrated with you or whatever. I had some wacky stuff happen to me before. I did not enjoy the interaction I got with those people, so it's a good gig, don't get me wrong. There's just not a lot of money in it. So there can be, but you have to be like in really good shape. And I like to eat, especially apple pie. My grandmother makes the best freaking apple pie anyone's ever made in this entire world. I don't care if you say your grandma's better, mine's better. Freaking delicious. Every year she makes it, like probably 2 minutes after she pulls it out of the oven, scalding hot, still shoving it in my mouth. Don't care. So that's always a nice treat every November, which happens to be right around my birthday, every Thanksgiving. So it's kind of cool. I get to get together with the family and everybody's there and we'll all have a good time and eat and yada yada. It's always fun. So, but got my first subscriber the other day. You know, heads up to you, man. Thanks, brother, for giving me a shout out. He was interested in my, he or she, pardon me, was interested in my channel or my playlist of losing streak videos of me playing Dawn of War, Soulstorm, Ultimate Apocalypse. It is a blast. If you haven't downloaded the mod for that game, if you own it, please, with the love of goodness, do it. It's really not complicated. It does take a little bit of computer know-how, but it's not terrible. They do have a Russian guy give you a tutorial video, and you can't freaking understand him worth a dang. Don't get me wrong, nice guy. Or he might be Austrian. Whatever. Regardless, his accent is heavy. And it's hard to understand the guy. But, yeah, legit. It's really not that hard. Just take your time. Take a deep breath. Whenever you do it, make sure you read every single instruction. Take it step by step. Watch the video. Pause it. Do the step. You know, don't think you know what you're doing, because that's what I thought I did. And I spent like 2.5 hours being all ticked off trying to get that stuff done. Alright, looks like we're at the 14-minute mark again. I apologize if this video has been a little blurry. I didn't realize how messed up the focus is. Anyways, got some of those guys painted. But, look at that. Love that guy. Made out of pewter. Whenever I got him in the mail, he was broken in like 15 different places. Not terrible, right? But anyways, got one more guy to paint, so I'm going to paint him up, go back over these guys' layers real fast. Maybe throw that shade on there, or that gloss or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, be back with you guys in a second.